Six founders, 12 weeks. The numbers are in $1.27 million in grants, contracts, and VC raised by the first cohort, the summer cohort of the PeaceTech Accelerator. Hi, everyone. If this is your first time listening to the Shane Ray Show or your 100th, I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Shane. I'm an investor at B Ventures Group and also the founder of what is called the PeaceTech Accelerator, which is based in Arlington, Virginia. Now, let me take you back to July 30th. This is went so exceptionally well, better than we could have imagined. And I want to answer the question directly today on the show that a few folks have been asking me, which is, how did the PeaceTech Accelerator turn out? And right now we're opening our doors for the next cohort. September 10th is the start date. And so if you're a dual use PeaceTech founder, software specifically, apply in the link in the show notes, and would love to meet you and have you a part of the group. There's already 84 companies on the wait list competing for 8 spots. All right, so let me take you back to July 30th. We ran our demo day in Arlington at Northeastern University. There were 226 people who registered to come. The event was completely sold out, and we had to turn away 64 people. We just ran out of room. And I remember standing in the back watching JD Spain, one of the county board members of Arlington, just get the crowd so excited by calling out the founders, by calling up the investors in the room to take action. JD Spain declared that Arlington is open for business, that Virginia is open for business. And this was an incredible way to start off the morning before the 6 founders pitched. And then also, of course, the panel with Fiona Murray of the NATO Innovation Fund, which is a $1 billion fund, and Brian Abrams of B Ventures, who co-founded a $1 billion fund previously before starting B Ventures. And they were sharing tips, tactics, advice, wisdom, and it was fantastic. One attendee after the event even messaged me word for word. I have it right here. They said, "Without a doubt, the best event I ever attended. It truly fed my soul. It truly fed my soul." And it's so interesting because this is not necessarily marketing speak. I really think that this is what happens when you put together an incredible group of value-aligned founders and investors and ecosystem supporters in the same room. And so I started this show by telling you that the 6 founders walked away with each an award for their progress and commitment to the accelerator. But also I mentioned that $1.27 million had been closed. This includes capital, this includes grants, and also sales contracts combined. And the way that we did this was, how do we do this? There's really three parts, and it wasn't magic or anything that is especially groundbreaking. It was the fundamentals. First, I sat down with each founder at the beginning of the cohort, and we built a sales process, not necessarily a pitch or a deck. Those things don't actually really close enterprise deals. We created a system to find the right buyer, to get an ICP, and then close the customer. There's 3 parts to this system. And if you join the cohort, you'll have access to that system that has now resulted in over $1 million being closed, which is absolutely incredible. The second thing we did is we made introductions. We made 82 introductions within a 10 to 12 week span. So that's essentially like an introduction a day, maybe a little bit more. And every founder in the cohort got warm introductions to either VCs, to government contracts, to real buyers who are their target. And third, the thing that we did that helped us get to this element is the one that most people skip, is that we follow it up. Every single intro should have a follow-up that we made throughout the cohort. In fact, a lot of times in sales, the gold is really in the follow-up. The gold is not quitting. The goal is following through on your commitment to set the meeting. And then when you have that meeting, to make an ask, to be direct of what you need, because a warm introduction is truly the way. In these days where people are getting bombarded with emails, warm introductions are the way. And so underneath all of it, which is probably the most important, is that we did this with a heart of service. I challenged the founders to not persuade, to manipulate, but instead to have the heart to serve and to ask good questions and to listen deeply. And that's the whole model, is that if you have a heart to serve your customers, then you'll never run out of them. And I saw this show up time and time again in the cohort. I hopped on calls every single week with every founder, and I saw how hard it was some days and then also how easy it was some days. So that's how we got to 1.27 million in 12 weeks or less. Is we built processes, we followed up, we had a heart of service, and I made as many introductions as I possibly could through my network. Now, on demo day, the company 8OS, led by Lema pitching, and Nasrat, the CEO, came away with a $25K investment. 8OS is a Virginia-based company that is essentially ushering in the new era of humanitarian aid development by showing receipts that aid is received. And they do this using AI, by personal relationships, and it goes on and on. Brian, the managing partner of B Ventures, is the one who decided to write the check. And without Brian supporting and showing up on the panel, supporting founders in the ecosystem, this truly is a huge credit to him and his vision for PeaceTech and what the possibilities of it are, which are truly, truly gargantuan. So Brian, if you're listening, thank you. This certainly doesn't happen without you. So as I wrap up the show, here's the thing: is we're not resting on having 1.27 million being closed in this first cohort. We're actually going for more. We're adding 2 more companies to the cohort. So now instead of 6, there will be 8 new companies that go through the cohort starting September 10th. And we've now increased our target from 1 million to 2 million in this cohort. So we're hopeful that companies in this cohort will generate 2 million in value, which will all accumulate in a demo day on December 3rd, which I'll get to that before we wrap up. So if you're a founder building dual use technology, AI, national security, AI for negotiation, misinformation, AI infrastructure, if your software has any sort of ability to help reduce violent conflict in the world, we want you to apply for the accelerator. Again, it's 12 weeks. The focus is build your sales pipeline, close your sales pipeline, raise venture capital on demo day. We're going to be targeting specifically Fortune 1000 and government customers, and we're going to be making legit VC investor intros. You can speak to the current cohort to see how that worked for them. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can see who is in the cohort previously on my LinkedIn. The application to apply is in the show notes. Again, like I said, it only takes 2 minutes to complete. There's over 80 companies who are already on it. So highly recommend you apply. And if you're very, very interested, highly recommend you just reach out to me and let me know that you applied either on LinkedIn, or you can email me as well. My email is in the bio of my LinkedIn. And lastly, as I mentioned, demo day, December 3rd, it's going to be fantastic. We have already 72 people confirmed to attend. Last time we had to turn away 64 people. Sponsors like Chris at Reitler, Adam at Finstrat, Will at Rowe, Todd at Insperity, and Sumit and Tally at Arlington Economic Development have been so massively helpful in getting this off the ground. They are champions for PeaceTech and champions for this movement, this ecosystem that's being built around technology for peace. So reserve your seat for the demo day on December 3rd to come see these founders pitch. Or if you're a founder, go ahead and apply using the application link in the show notes. And last but not least, I want to just finish by saying a massive, massive thank you to those who see the possibilities that technology could be used to end violent conflict and who are all in. To you, I tip my hat. To you are who I think of every single day, because ultimately it's all of us that are going to move the needle on peace. Doesn't matter your beliefs, your religion, whatever it is, we see a future where we can come together and end violent conflict using software, using AI for good. This is the whole purpose, is to mitigate, reduce, and prevent violent conflict from starting. I'm so glad you're on the journey. Let's see where the winter cohort takes us, and we'll see you in the next episode.